Good afternoon, and thank you so much for tuning in to my presentation this week. This week, for week 4, we discuss different social movements that companies has used to try to help sell their product and try to reach out to other people. And going through different stories I could have done this week, it was very much like trying to figure out something that not I didn't think a lot of people would do and would want to talk about. And this week I decided to choose the Bud Light and Dylan Mulvaney controversy. I remember this happening in 2023 because mainly in the summertime, it was around the 4th of July. People were getting prepared for like the 4th of July and all these things. And I just remember seeing the video of the partnership and it's blowing up. And as the weeks have come before the 4th of July, you just see so many different people weighing into this thing. And this is like the first kind of like big controversy for me that I've seen like on TikTok and how TikTok has affected it. So in this, what pretty much happened is Bud Light began their partnership with Dylan Mulvaney, who is a popular TikTok transgender activist. Now, I've seen before the controversy took place, I would see Dylan Mulvaney videos on TikTok sometimes, and he would do 365. He would do basically a year, 365 days of him doing something new, like being a woman. Like he would do like day in the life of like what a woman would do. Like he would try to do something a female would do each and every day to try to spread awareness to his cause. And then I remember around April 2023, I saw him post a video about his collaboration with Bud Light. And I believe Bud Light goal was to try to increase their beer sales, and they were trying to appeal to more of like the young users nowadays because usually when people drink like Bud Light or really any beers, it's not really younger people. It's more of like the blue collar worker, like older generation, like my family, like we don't drink beer, like it's just not something we do. But like you never really see any commercials about Bud Light. It's not very popular beer. But Dylan Murray announced her collaboration with Bud Light with an Instagram video on April 2023. She also did it on TikTok. So many people blew up. They were absolutely surprised that Bud Light would do a partnership with Dylan Murray because of what she believed in and what she acted on. Because she's a very vocal activist for her cause. So many people began the boycott. In result, in the like 2-3 months before the 4th of July, they lost billions of dollars. I remember in the first month they lost over $5 million. They lost 30% of their clientele. Clientele. So I remember it like them posting about it and them being like, oh, and so many people commenting like why Bud Light would do this, why Bud Light did the partner. I remember Kid Rock posting a video in response to Dylan Mulvaney and him like saying like this is like not what Bud Light stand for. This is not what the American people like want. This led to so many people questioning the Bud Light's like morals and what they believed in because they never really came out and say, "Oh, this is what we believe in. This is what we want to like. This is the audience we want to push and stuff." They were wondering what they support about the LGBT community, and people were wondering if they actually like believe in it or were they using it more as like a marketing strategy. They never mentioned one thing that always like drew me like is Bud Light never really came out and say why they wanted to partner with Dylan Mulvaney. Do they do support and like after everything kind of blew up, Bud Light never really said anything. They were very like quiet. They didn't. I don't think they really knew how they were going to embrace the backlash, and they probably didn't even realize they were going to get backlash. But they never really reinforced their values. So, um, what I think is important for like brands or companies, if they're going to have a spokesperson, if they're going to have people they want to help embrace their products, is they need to find. Well, I don't really think sometimes. No matter what celebrity or what company you use, there's always gonna be some form of backlash. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's human, and there everybody is going to be human, but people are going to do wrong. People are going to do wrong. People are always going to have some form of controversy. But like for a brand such as Bud Light, you want people who are going to drink it. Who's not going to be like a social trend. Think about it. Who mainly drinks beer is going to be blue collar country people, older folks that their family drink. Like, go after someone who's going to be more appealing, like country music, blue collar, like maybe collaborate like blue collar countries. Heyman found the perspective and on it will be influenced how consumers respond to the allegations, because not even the LGBT community really spoke about this, and they were all kind of shocked when this all happened because no one really knew that this was going on. Many people were very concerned and uncertain about their values in this poor marketing decision. Many people believe on both sides that Bud Light was just trying to make a quick buck. Like this was their like very fast and quick, easy attempt for this marketing strategy. Because again, they never really spoke about why they wanted to do these things. CEO Brandon Wiltler, he never really came out and like spoke about the issue. He never gave a clear answer again why they wanted to partner with Dylan Mulvaney. Dimino helped showed that the communication weakened, like showed how Bud Light's communication weakened public confidence and damaged the Budweiser brand. And looking back is like Budweiser was a very popular beer in like the 90s, 2000s, but they kind of died off in the 2010s. And then I guess the CEO thought like maybe this would help and it would help bring back a little bit more like life and maybe like make it more young and more appealing to people, because there was a big drinking, like more people were drinking after COVID. They were drinking during COVID because that's all you could really do. People were stuck at home, so what else are you gonna do? Like you can't get in trouble for the things like alcohol, like DUIs on the road. Like a lot of people sat there and drank at home. Domingo also suggests that they tried to take control of the situation. They kind of like just brought all the products off the shelf. They kind of like didn't say anything about it. But again, they never really addressed the controversy, the why they did the things they did, and that always left everyone a big question again. And when Dylan Mulvaney made a video to kind of apologize for it because of how the controversy, she also stressed like that Bud Light wasn't communicating with her. They weren't doing anything to help reassure her. They just left her in the dust. And again, that's not fair to both parties, because if you're going to partner with somebody, you need to have their back no matter what. After the whole Dylan Mulvaney controversy, they kind of didn't really post anything till like 2024. They announced their partnership with Post Malone. He beginning in the 2023, beginning of 2024, he started making his slow descendant into country music instead of like rap and hip hop. So he would endorse Bud Light, and then in 2025 he did a commercial with Shane Gillis that kind of blew up, and everyone's like, okay, well Bud Light's now finding a crowd that more fits them. Because you got to think, where do people most likely drink beers? At home, at bars, at sporting events, at different things. You're taking these people who are going to be more relatable to the crowd they want to do and going to use it. Now, from someone who, I am a big Post Malone fan. I followed Post Malone since like 2018. When he had his first like his country tour in like beginning of 2024, or no, the end of 2024, he was sponsored by Love Bud Light. The company helped him like put on his tour and like helped paid for things, and they had a lot of like photo ops with Bud Light. They were giving out like Bud Lights for free. It was very much sponsored, like, and that was able to help because it was more people relating to what he wanted to do, and like what he wanted to do, it was more able. I think what Bud Light should have done, as I don't think they should have ever really did a collaboration anyway. I don't think that companies should focus on a social movement and try to appeal to that audience, because again, there's so many different social movements that has happened in the last couple of years that it's just a common trend, that it's just going to die off in a couple of weeks or even a couple months. Nothing really stays around, and it's mainly just people focusing on the news and wanting to do like what the news has to offer. I think Bud Light should have just tried to focus, like, don't do social movement. Just try to appeal to younger people. Just show that like it's a cheap beer. It's a cheap beer. It tastes good. Like no, I personally do not care what other companies have to say. Like I don't care who they support. It doesn't bother me. Like usually, if a company is very vocal about like social issues, I'm not gonna like participate. I'm not really gonna participate. I'm not really gonna care because that's something that doesn't matter. If I like again, people have their opinions. That's fine. That's great. But that's just not something I agree with. But I think I think one thing the CEO Brandon failed to do is they never really communicate with anybody, then with the stakeholders. I bet you a lot of stakeholders had questions about what could have done, what could they have done better, but again, there was no guidance or leadership to be due. There was no leadership within the crisis. In the crisis that became, everyone was kind of left in the dark, kind of left nothing. We didn't really hear anything. I believe leadership should have one clear message, and it should just be for the people. It's just not just one or a couple audience. They just need to find something that's going to be more suitable for everybody. And this message should be communicated throughout the whole entire company, from the people from the bottom to the top and the stakeholders. If people want to buy stock for this company, they need to know and be able to support the message they want to do. Leadership also, I think Budweiser also should have listened to the stakeholders and asked, hey, or give us different opinions. Hey, who do you think, if we had a spokesperson, who do you want it to be? What fits our group? What fits our memo? What group do we want to do? So, and find a solution and involve people, because when people feel more involved, they're more likely going to want to do things. I bet you after this conversation, a lot of stakeholders didn't really want anything to do with Bud Light after this, and that's why they lost over $30 billion. Again, something I like to illustrate: companies should not engage with social movements. They should have one message, be able to try to appeal to a bigger audience and not just try to appeal to different little audience. Sicer found that the consumer perspective of the Bud Light partnership were strongly influenced by whether the campaign was viewed as authentic and performative. It wasn't really something they all really considered to do. They just trying to fit the high. But again, trends change. Think about it. Just in this alone, we're in July, how many different changes have occurred already? I believe if companies are going to partnership with somebody, they need to find someone who's going to fit the brand that they want to appeal. Again, having someone that's a transgender activist is not going to really be a good beer partnership, in my opinion. It's just not an audience that's going to be very appealed to this idea. In conclusion, I believe leaders should align actions and values. They need to help communicate transparently and be able to commit to a long-term partnership, not just a couple months. Like, again, Post Malone has done his partnership with Bud Light for now over 2 years, and it seemed to help grow in different aspects. I believe also companies need to reflect on a stakeholder's feedback to help guide their decisions. They need to help communicate their values clearly and consistently over and over again. Again, social movements come and go. We cannot agree with a lot of these issues. Like, not agree with a lot of these issues, but companies need to have one message, one movement, just move forward, and just keep their opinions about social movements to themselves. Or if they're going to support a social movement, then they need to pedal to the metal and support it throughout, and not just disappear like Bud Light again. But thank you again for watching this presentation. I hope you learn more about it, and can't wait for next week. Thank you.